Hello everyone.
So, government budget is a chapter where government is making budget every year. As you all know that every year a new budget is going to start from 1st April till 31st March. The 1st April to 31st March as new budget is starting, but it was declared in the month of February, but at the last week. Now the new dates were finalized with last previously past 2 3 years. Now it was declared in the first week. Now it was final that 1st February new budget will be going to declared by the finance minister of our country. So finance minister of our country is declaring a new budget, and it was first shown in the parliament office by the finance minister, and if parliament gives an approval, then it will be declared to the government, to the public. So the budget which is prepared by the finance minister declared every year on 1st February to the public. First, it was approved by the parliament or the government. That budget is called as the government budget. In this budget, government is giving us the information of last past year, means what they have done last year and what all things they are going to change new policies for this year. So whatever programs and planning they are going to do for this year, that all they are going to tell us. But this year actually they are planning, which is called as estimating. So estimated word they are using, that they are going to estimate what expenditure they are going to do this year and what expand income they are going to receive this year. So that just planning they are doing, because actually what is going to happen that they are not knowing. So as you all are knowing, CBSE is also planning that this year your exam will be in this way, term 1, term 2, and every prospects they have planned that online, offline, everything. So same way government is also planning what all options may arise in future, that all options they are going to plan. So that budget what they are going to plan is called as government budget. It is also called as budgetary policy, or it is also called as fiscal policy, where they are showing two aspects, that is revenue aspect and capital aspect. Revenue aspect means how much money they are going to receive in a year, and expenditure aspect means how much they are going to spend in a year. So that all estimation is done by the government, and that estimation they are going to tell to the public. But when they are doing this estimation, when they are making new policies and plan, so their main motive is for the growth and stability of the economy, that there should be a growth of the economy. Growth means when GDP will increase, then there will be a growth. And secondly, there should be a stability in the economy. That means no inflation problem, no deflation problem should be there. So while making this budget, their main objective, they are thinking these two things should be in the budget, means there should be a GDP increment and there should be a stability in the economy. So these two objectives they are keeping in mind while they are making the budget. The next topic is objectives of government budget. Objectives of government budget means what are the main objective, what are the main aim when government is planning to do the making the budget. So their main objective is to increase the GDP, and GDP will be increased only when they are increasing the investment expenditure. Investment expenditure on infrastructure. So new roads, construction of roads, bridges, dams, these should be constructed in our country, then GDP will increase. So government should have to increase the investment expenditure. Secondly, government have to increase the private investment expenditure also, means on the private person, like they have to reduce the tax or they have to increase the subsidies. Means these things if government is doing, that means GDP will be going to increase. Secondly, allocation of resources. Allocation of resources means government is telling that whatever resources they are having, either natural resources or other human resources, whatever resources they are having, they have to use in a better manner, so that there should be high profit in the economy. So if we are using the resources in a better manner, so it will be increasing the GDP. So they have divided allocation of resources in two parts. If private sectors were there, so private sectors are main motive is to earn profit. So they are thinking to earn profit. According to that, they will use the resources. And if government sector is there, so they will promote social welfare. So if they are going to promote social welfare, then also equality should be there in the economy. So both the things they have to keep in mind while allocation of resources. So when they are doing the allocation of resources, so both the main motive should be there. What is the main motive? Just now I had explained. Tell me, what are the main allocation of resources motive? Social welfare and profit maximization. These two are the main motive of allocation of resources. So how social welfare they are doing? If production of injurious things like cigarettes, wines, whiskey was going on, so government is not directly stopping not to produce. Indirectly government is charging high taxes on these goods. So when taxes are high, their value will be increases. So the persons who are having money, they can only purchase these things. So in this way, otherwise they are promoting like khadi, they are increasing the production and they are decreasing the rate. Khadi means the persons require labors, and if labor intensive technique we are using, that means more employment should be there, and if more employment should be there, so earning of the persons will be increasing. Then third point is provision for public goods. Provision for public goods means they are making rules and regulations that we have to safeguard the public goods. Now question arises, what do you mean by public goods? The public goods are those goods which are collectively giving the satisfaction to the public. Like we can say street lights on the roads. Street light on the roads is giving us the satisfaction to all the public whoever is moving on the road, like gardens, like public theaters. These all are trains, these all are the goods made by the government for the social welfare of the public. So these goods are called as public goods. So they have made a rules and regulations to maintain this public goods. Like means if any person is making harm, damaging these goods, so they have to pay the penalty. So law and order they have made for the safety of these goods. So these are called as public goods. So they have made some money they are investing for the defense purpose, for the safety of public goods. So that all is coming under the provision of public goods, means they have to save these goods. Then next is redistribution of income and wealth. Redistribution of income and wealth means main aim of government budget is to exercise taxation and subsidies, means charge taxes from the richer persons and give subsidies to the poor person. If they are charging taxes from the richer person, so their income will be reduced, and if they are giving subsidy to the poor person, so the poor person will get some extra income. So this motive they have, this planning they have done to bring the equality in the economy, so that social justice will be there, social welfare should be there. So this they have started. Then balanced regional growth. Balanced regional growth means all the area, either rural area or urban area. Our main motive is to promote both these sectors. If both these sectors will be getting promotion, rural area is also developing and urban area is also developing, that means our country GDP will be increasing. Because if backward area remain backward, then our economy will be underdeveloped only. If we have to develop the economy, so both the sectors, both the area, that is rural and urban, both should be developed. For the rural area, government had made special economic zone team. Special economic zone team is main motive is to provide or develop the backward area. So they are making the rules and regulations liberal for that area, so that that area's development should be there. Employment opportunity is the next point, where their main motive is to provide employment to the persons who are unemployed. For that, they have made various schemes, like you have studied in Indian Economy Poverty chapter. that government has made many schemes so that the poor person who are unemployed will be getting employment, and when they are employed, so their earning capacity will be increasing, and they will be income generation will increase and poor ratio will be decreased. Then economic stability means our country should be safe from different business cycles problem. So business cycle means what is the flow is going in the economy. So business cycle, due to business cycle, sometime we are getting very high profit, sometime we are getting very loss. So that process is given recession, depression, recovery and boom. So recession means when we are from the loss we are just shifting to the profit area, that is recession. Means हम मेहनत करना चालू कर रहे हैं, that we can do. Depression means totally loss. Recovery, आप रिकवरी कर रहे हो धीरे धीरे. बूम मीन्स आप एक्स्ट्रा प्रॉफिट कमा चुके हो. So that process is called recession, depression, recovery and boom. So our country government main motive that this business cycle will be moving on, but we have to save our economy from inflation and deflation. They are trying to maintain economic stability in our economy, so that if economic stability will be there, so economic growth should be there. Okay. So now new topic we are going to start, that is components of budget. The components of budget is divided into two parts, that is budget receipt and budget expenditure. Means when we are making budget, so money is coming and money is going. Like your family, in your family also your mother is making budget when your papa is giving them the monthly income. She is planning where that money is coming in this way. Means papa ne whatever earning papa has done, so that is the receipt for your mother. Now your mother have to plan where she is going to spend all that money, so that your family requirements will be fulfilled, and with that they can save some money also. So like our government is also planning that these all are the sources from where the government is going to receive money. So first component is receipt. Receipt means money is coming in the hand of the government. Then second source they are going to, that wherever they are going to spend, means where their money is going to spend, that is called as the expenditure of the economy. So receipt is divided into two parts, revenue receipt and capital receipt. Revenue receipts are those receipts which are regularly coming in the hand of government. Means money is coming regularly in the hand of government, so that is called revenue receipt. But when regular money is coming in the hand of government, so neither your asset will be going to reduce, neither your liability will be going to increase. So there will be no changes in your asset and liability. It will remain constant when this revenue receipt money is going to come in the hand. Like simple example I am saying. Like every month your papa is getting salary. So when the salary is coming in the hand of your father, whether whatever asset your family is having that will be changed. क्या वो changes होंगी? Tell me beta. Whatever money असेट आपके पास है, पापा की सैलरी हर महीने आती है, तो उससे ना तो आपके असेट कम हो रहे हैं ना तो आपके असेट बढ़ रहे हैं, तो इट विल रिमेन एज इट इज़. और क्या आपकी कोई लाइबिलिटी चेंज होती है जब आपके पास ये पैसे आते हैं? सो या लाइबिलिटी या बर्डन विल बी ऑल्सो एज इट इज़. ना हमारे असेट चेंज होते हैं ना लाइबिलिटी चेंज होती है. ऐसे ही गवर्नमेंट के पास जो रेगुलर नेचर का पैसा गवर्नमेंट के पास आता है, रेवेन्यू नेचर का, तो उससे ना तो गवर्नमेंट के कोई असेट कम होते हैं ना तो गवर्नमेंट की कोई लाइबिलिटी कम होती है. तो उस रिसिप्ट को हम क्या कहते हैं? रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट. तो रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट आर दोज रिसिप्ट which do not create any liability to the government, neither reduce any asset of the government. Tell me these points are clear or not, beta? The revenue receipt is divided into two parts, tax receipt and non-tax receipt. Tax receipt are those receipts which daily basis government is earning. Means tax money is coming in the hand of government daily. So tax receipts are, example of tax receipts are income tax, corporation tax, state duty, gift tax, custom duty, excise duty, GST. These are the tax receipt. Every time the government is earning these taxes, so that tax is called as tax receipt. Non-tax receipt means other than tax, there are many sources through which the government is getting daily earning. That is fees, fines, escheat, special assessments. So these all things in detail you are going to study. So first thing, tell me, हमारा component of budget कितने parts में divide है? How many parts your component of budget is divided? What are they? Receipt? No, only receipt and expenditure. क्या कहेंगे हम? Receipt and expenditure. Then receipt is divided into two parts, that is revenue receipt and capital receipt. तो अभी हम जो पढ़ रहे हैं हम रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट पढ़ रहे हैं. तो रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट के मीनिंग सबको क्लियर हो गए हैं. रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट क्या होती है? इससे ना तो हमारी लायबिलिटी इंक्रीज होती है ना तो हमारे असेट डिक्रीज होते हैं. जो जैसा है वैसे ही रहता है. उस रिसिप्ट को हम कहते हैं रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट. तो रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट आपकी दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड है, दैट इज टैक्स रिसिप्ट एंड नॉन टैक्स रिसिप्ट. तो अब हम टैक्स रिसिप्ट को डिटेल में पढ़ रहे हैं. टैक्स रिसिप्ट मीन्स विच इज कंपल्सरी टू पे टू द गवर्नमेंट बाय द हाउस होल्ड और बाय द प्रोड्यूसर्स. तो टैक्सेस आर ऑफ वेरियस टाइप. पहला टाइप है प्रोग्रेसिव एंड रिग्रेसिव टैक्स. प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्स एंड रिग्रेसिव टैक्स पहले चलते थे, नाउ इट वॉज स्टॉप्ड. So progressive tax is a tax as your income increases, tax rate also increases. Means if you are earning 2 lakh, so you have to pay 10 lakh, 10%. If your income increases 5 lakh to 10 lakh, so your tax rate also increases. तो वहाँ एक लिमिट बना के रखी थी, 2 लाख से 5 लाख जितना कमाएंगे उनको 10% टैक्स देना ही देना है. जो 5 लाख से 10 लाख कमाएंगे उनको 20% टैक्स देना है. तो as income increases, tax rate also increases. So that tax is called as progressive tax. इससे क्या होता था, रिचर पर्सन के ऊपर बर्डन बढ़ता जा रहा था और पुअर पर्सन सेफ थे. तो रिचर पर्सन्स ने आर्ग्यू करा और ये टैक्स सिस्टम बंद कर दिया गया. देन रिग्रेसिव टैक्स. रिग्रेसिव टैक्स क्या था? एक टैक्स रेट फिक्स कर दिया है, चाहे कोई भी कमाए उनको इतना परसेंट टैक्स देना ही है. अगर आप 10,000 कमा रहे हो तो भी आपको 10% टैक्स देना है. अगर आप 1 लाख कमा रहे हो तो भी आपको 10% टैक्स देना है. तो इससे क्या हो रहा था, चाहे आप रिच पर्सन हो, आप चाहे पुअर पर्सन हो, हर पर्सन को टैक्स देना है. तो बर्डन किसके ऊपर आने लगा था? पुअर पर्सन के ऊपर टैक्स बर्डन आने लगा था और रिचर पर्सन सेफ थे. क्योंकि पुअर पर्सन अगर 1,000 रुपये भी कमा रहा है तो भी उसको 1,000 पे 100 रुपये टैक्स देना पड़ रहा है. तो उसके पास बेचारे के पास बस 900 रुपये बच रहे हैं. और रिचर पर्सन अगर 1 लाख कमा रहा है तो उसको 10,000 टैक्स देना पड़ रहा है, तो उसके पास 90,000 बच रहा है. तो इससे बर्डन क्या हो रहा था, रिचर पर्सन तो भी ठीक थे, पुअर पर्सन पे और बर्डन आ रहा था जिससे इनइक्वालिटी बढ़ती जा रही थी. तो ये टैक्स भी बंद कर दिया गया. फिर वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स चालू हुआ. वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स हर जगह नहीं लगता था, कुछ गवर्नमेंट लगवाती थी. जैसे हमारी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, एमपी गवर्नमेंट टैक्स लगवाती थी जिसको हम कहते थे वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स. मतलब जितना वो वैल्यू एडिशन करेंगी उन वैल्यू एडिशन पे जो टैक्स लगता था उसको कहा जाता था वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स. फिर जैसे आपने एक दुकान से 100 रुपये का गुड खरीदा तो अब आप उसको 200 पे बेच रहे हो या 150 पे बेच रहे हो, तो आपने वैल्यू एडिशन कितना करा, 50 रुपीज़. तो 50 रुपीज़ पे टैक्स लगेगा, तो उसको कहा जाता था वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स. देन स्पेसिफिक टैक्स. स्पेसिफिक टैक्स स्पेसिफिक कॉमोडिटी पे, स्पेशल आइटम्स पे लगता था, जैसे वाइन्स, लिकर या फिर स्पेशल टाइप्स ऑफ परफ्यूम. जो स्पेशल आइटम्स होते हैं उनकी शेप, साइज, क्वालिटी, उनके ऊपर जो टैक्स लगता है उसको कहा जाता है स्पेसिफिक टैक्स. देन डायरेक्ट टैक्स एंड इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स. डायरेक्ट टैक्स इज द टैक्स हुज बर्डन विल नॉट बी गोइंग टू शिफ्ट टू एनी अदर पर्सन. जिसका बर्डन हम किसी के ऊपर शिफ्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं, जिसके ऊपर आया है उसी को वो टैक्स देना है, उसको हम कहते हैं डायरेक्ट टैक्स. जैसे इनकम टैक्स, आपकी इनकम है तो आप ही को टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. आप अपनी इनकम का टैक्स अपने मम्मी पापा या अपने फ्रेंड्स के ऊपर शिफ्ट नहीं कर सकते. बट इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स का बर्डन शिफ्ट हो जाता है। ये मेनली प्रोड्यूसर को पे करना है, बट प्रोड्यूसर कंज्यूमर से ले लेता है। जैसे हम सब आइटम्स खरीदते हैं, कुछ भी, आप छोटी सी चॉकलेट खरीद रहे हो, पेंसिल पेन खरीद रहे हो, जो भी खरीद रहे हो, आप हर चीज़ पे टैक्स दे रहे हो। तो हम कुछ अभी अर्न भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, देन ऑल्सो वी आर पेइंग टैक्स, सो दैट टैक्स इज कॉल्ड एज इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स, हुज बर्डन दे आर शिफ्टिंग टू दी पब्लिक और टू दी अदर पर्सन। तो वो टैक्स जिसका बर्डन दूसरे पे शिफ्ट हो सकता है उसको कहते हैं इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स, और जो टैक्स जिसका बर्डन शिफ्ट नहीं हो सकता उसको कहा जाता है डायरेक्ट टैक्स। तो करेंटली अब बस डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स हमारी इकोनॉमी में लगते हैं, बाकी ऑल टैक्सेस वर कैंसल्ड। दिस मच इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन? ओके, सो नाउ non-tax receipt. Non-tax receipt means other than the tax. What are the other sources through which the government is earning income? The government is earning income through fees. Fees means if we are getting birth, so birth certificate बनवाते हैं, then also we have to pay fees. अगर किसी की डेथ हो जा रही है तो डेथ सर्टिफिकेट बनवा रहे हैं, पासपोर्ट बनवा रहे हैं, लाइसेंस बनवा रहे हो, रजिस्ट्रेशन सर्टिफिकेट बनवा रहे हो, कोर्ट फीस पे करनी पड़ती है। तो एवरी आइटम वी आर पेइंग फीस टू द गवर्नमेंट, तो वो चीज़ कहलाती है फीस, ये जो गवर्नमेंट की रोज की सोर्स ऑफ इनकम है। देन फाइन्स, जो भी रूल्स गवर्नमेंट ने बनाए हैं जिनको ब्रेक करते हैं, देन वी हैव टू पे दी फाइन्स। हेलमेट नहीं पहना तो फाइन, मास्क नहीं पहना तो फाइन। तो ये गवर्नमेंट लॉ एंड ऑर्डर बना के रखी है, तो ये लॉ ऑर्डर जो फॉलो नहीं करेंगे तो उनको फाइन्स देना पड़ता है, पेनल्टी देनी पड़ती है गवर्नमेंट को। तो ये भी गवर्नमेंट की रेगुलर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम है जिसके थ्रू गवर्नमेंट के पास पैसे आते हैं। एस शीट का मतलब होता है वो प्रॉपर्टी जिसकी कोई विल नहीं बनी है, तो जिसका कोई क्लेमेंट नहीं है, जिसका कोई उत्तराधिकारी नहीं है, नॉमिनी नहीं है, तो वो प्रॉपर्टी सीधे गवर्नमेंट के पास चली जाती है। या फिर किसी फैमिली में कोई लड़ाई झगड़े हो रहे हैं तो वो प्रॉपर्टी गवर्नमेंट कवर अप कर लेती है, तो उस चीज़ को कहा जाता है एस शीट। स्पेशल असेसमेंट मीन्स जब स्पेशल सिस्टम कुछ करा जाता है, जैसे पहले आपके घर के सामने प्रॉपर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम नहीं था, प्रॉपर वेल सिस्टम नहीं था, क्लीनलीनेस नहीं थी, तो जब ये सब चीज़ें नहीं थी तो आपके घर की वैल्यू इतनी हाई नहीं थी। बट अब जब ये सारी चीज़ें फैसिलिटीज़ प्रॉपर हो गई हैं, प्रॉपर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम है, प्रॉपर वाटर सप्लाई है, प्रॉपर आपके यहाँ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, तो आपकी रेंटल वैल्यू घर की बढ़ जाती है। तो जब हम किसी को रेंट पे देंगे तो अब इसकी वैल्यू एप्रिशिएट हो गई है। तो इस डेवलपमेंट, ये प्रॉपर रोड कंस्ट्रक्ट वगैरह किसने करवाई है? गवर्नमेंट ने। तो इन सब चीज़ों पे हमें कुछ स्पेशल पैसे देने पड़ते हैं गवर्नमेंट को, जिसको कहा जाता है स्पेशल असेसमेंट। देन जो गवर्नमेंट की पब्लिक एंटरप्राइजेस चल रही हैं, गवर्नमेंट की इंडस्ट्रीज चल रही हैं, उनके थ्रू भी जो इनकम होती है, प्रॉफिट होता है, वो गवर्नमेंट का रेगुलर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम कहलाता है। फिर गवर्नमेंट सेल ऑफ स्पेक्ट्रम, सेल ऑफ स्पेक्ट्रम मतलब ये जो 2G 3G 4G 5G अब हमारे यहाँ कंट्री में आ गई है डेटा स्पीड, तो ये सबसे पहले गवर्नमेंट के पास आती है, गवर्नमेंट खरीदती है फॉरेन कंट्रीज से, फिर ये गवर्नमेंट दूसरी प्राइवेट लोगों को सप्लाई करती है। तो ये जो सप्लाई करा जाता है बहुत हाई रेट में सप्लाई करा जाता है, तो ये पूरा एक साथ नहीं सप्लाई करा जाता है, गवर्नमेंट फिक्स कर लेती है इतना इतना आपको मंथली हमें पैसे देने हैं, तो वो गवर्नमेंट की रेगुलर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम बन जाती है, जिसको कहा जाता है सेल ऑफ स्पेक्ट्रम। देन ग्रांट्स एंड डोनेशन जो गवर्नमेंट को रेगुलर सोर्सेज में मिलती है दूसरी कंट्रीज से, चैरिटी, जैसे अभी कोविड के कारण हमारी कंट्री को मिली, अभी सेकेंड स्ट्रेन में जैसे उन लोगों को ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर्स वगैरह मिले, कितनी मनी मिली, कितने वैक्सीनेशंस वगैरह मिले, तो ये सारी चीज़ें डोनेशन और चैरिटी मिलती है। तो ये सब चीज़ें रेगुलर सोर्स ऑफ इनकम कहलाती हैं, जिनको हम कहते हैं नॉन टैक्स रिसिप्ट। So now these all things are clear to everyone. What are tax receipt, what are non-tax receipt, and what is revenue receipt. So our next topic is capital receipt. So capital receipt means huge amount of money is coming in the hand of government. So when lump sum money is coming in the hand of government, so either it is increasing our liability or it is reducing the asset of the government. Means huge amount of loan government has taken. So when huge amount of loan government has taken, so it increases the liability on the government, or otherwise government had sold any asset, then only huge amount of money is coming in the hand of government. So when lump sum money is coming in the hand of government, so it increases the liability or it reduces the asset. So if definition was asked, what do you mean by capital receipt? So capital receipts are those receipts which increases the liability or which reduces the asset on the government. So it was divided into three parts, that is recovery of loan. So recovery of loan means government has given loan to the state government. Central government has given loan to the state government. So now government is taking back its loan. So when they are giving, so their assets are increasing, and when they are taking back, so their assets are decreasing. So when their assets are decreasing, it is called capital receipt. Secondly, borrowing and other liabilities. Borrowing and other liabilities means they are taking loan from the other countries or from the RBI or from rest of the world or from the public. So whenever government require money or they are taking loan from the public or from the RBI or from the other banks, so that is called borrowing. So it increases the liability. Third, disinvestment. Disinvestment means when government is selling his shares, assets to the public. Like just now, current position, government is shifting their things in the hand of private sector. So when privatization is increasing, government is selling their control to the public sector or sorry to the private sector. So that is called other receipt, which is disinvestment. So these are the three things which are the part of capital receipt. So all these capital receipts are clear to everyone? Okay. Okay, beta. So now second part, that is expenditure. Government is spending money. सो गवर्नमेंट के पास पैसे आ चुके हैं दो सोर्सेस से, रेवेन्यू रिसिप्ट से, कैपिटल रिसिप्ट से. अब गवर्नमेंट को पैसे खर्च करने हैं. तो जब गवर्नमेंट खर्च भी करती है तो दो तरीके से करती है. रोज के खर्चे जिसको कहेंगे रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर, और लमसम खर्चे जिसको कहा जाएगा कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. तो वेन एवर गवर्नमेंट इज स्पेंडिंग मनी, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज expenditure part. So when they are doing revenue expenditure means daily expenditure. So when daily basis expenditures they are doing, so same way it neither affects your asset neither affects your liability. जैसे institution monthly salary देगी, monthly wages देगी, monthly interest देगी, so it's neither affect your asset or neither affects your liabilities. So that is called as revenue expenditure. So which neither create any asset or reduce any liability of the government. So that expenditures were called as revenue expenditure. Like when government is giving old age pension, government is giving subsidy, government is giving scholarship. So this is not affecting their asset, or government is giving charity, so that all things will not affect your asset or liability. So that expenditures were called as revenue expenditure. Clear? Then capital expenditure is just opposite to revenue expenditure. Capital expenditure means lump sum, huge amount government is spending money. So when in lump sum government is spending money, so either it increases the asset. जैसे अब हमने बहुत सारा पैसा एक साथ खर्च करा तो हमने कोई asset खरीदा होगा. So same way in lump sum if government is spending money, so either it increases the asset और या तो हमने जो लोन लिया होगा वो वापस किया होगा. So it reduces the liability. So if your asset increases or your liability reduces, so that expenditure is called as capital expenditure. Like if you have purchased land and building, you have purchased machinery, so huge amount of money is spent by you, so that is your capital expenditure. Or if you have paid loan, then it is also a capital expenditure because your liability decreases. Now plan and non-plan expenditure. प्लान एंड नॉन प्लान मीन्स जो प्लानिंग करके गवर्नमेंट खर्चा करती है उसको कहते हैं प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर. सो जो उनने अपने एनुअल बजट में या 5 ईयर प्लान में प्लानिंग करी है कि इस बार गवर्नमेंट को इतना एजुकेशन सेक्टर पे खर्च करना है, इतना हेल्थ पे, इतना आपका कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे, तो वो जो प्लानिंग करके खर्चा करा जाता है, दैट एक्सपेंडिचर इज कॉल्ड एज प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर. नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर जो अचानक से आ जाता है, जिसकी कोई प्लानिंग नहीं करी जाती है, जैसे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, पेपर वर्क का कोई खर्चा आ गया, मैनेजमेंट, तो वो खर्चे जिनको प्लान नहीं किया गया है अचानक से आ जाते हैं. सो दैट एक्सपेंडिचर्स वो कॉल्ड एज नॉन प्लान एक्सपेंडिचर. So now these all things are clear to everyone.
Keep studying.